What's up, guys? Welcome back to Dust or Bust. Today we're talking about doing some DIY seat restoration. These seats are out of our 74 Plymouth Duster 360, and I wanted to keep the original look if possible, and if we could do it within the budget. And so I walked into this upholstery shop and I had them take a look at the seats. Obviously very rough, and I just said, hey, what am I looking at to have you guys redo everything? And the price that I got really shocked me, $3,500. Now that was to redo the two bucket seats and the rear bench, but $3,500 is way over the price that I was anticipating. Now I've never had it done, and maybe it is worth that if you're looking for show quality, car seats. I am not. I'm building a driver, and I just want something that looks good, looks cool, doesn't have to be perfect. So I went in there. The $3,500 price tag shocked me, but the guy was nice enough to give me a general overview of the work and a few options if I wanted to bring that price down. He told me that he basically buys all of the foams and covers from Legendary, and then he puts it all together himself, and then they strip everything down and redo it all and refresh it all, and that's $3,500 for him to do everything. Anyways, the main takeaway was I can go online and buy all the stuff and do it myself. With a little bit of help from a couple viewers, I was able to piece together the different components at a price that I was willing to afford, which is all in $1,300 to cover the fronts and the rears. $700 through First Place Auto Parts for the actual seat cover, so the replica vinyl. Here, I think they look fantastic, and that was actually made by a company called PUI Interiors that's just up the road in Lebanon, Ohio, so really close to me. So it's kind of cool to know that it came from the area, definitely made in the US. So that was about $700, and then it was about $600 for the foams through Classic Industries, and the buckets were actually the Legendary foam kits. So that's just a little bit of background. But anyways, we came out at $1,300. So for that price point, that's within what I was willing to pay to maintain the original seats, but I got to do it all myself. Now there is a video from Legendary. I'm going to link it below. That video is very good. It takes you through all the steps to redoing it. Of course, assuming you have only Legendary parts, so there's a few little tweaks. But in general, very good video. The one downfall is that that video is made by somebody, and they demonstrate it by somebody who does this all day, every day. So there's a few extra points that I want to call out. If you're new like me and you don't do that all the time, there's a couple extra little tips that I want to point out. Let me first take you guys through the steps and point out a couple things along the way. All right, so now that it's done, it's assembled, a couple things that I want to point out. First, I'm not totally happy with this line. Now, it might be in my head, or maybe it's a little bit off, but one thing that happened, in general, PUI, I'm very impressed with them. The seats that I ordered, they didn't have the 73 and 74 option for the front and back seats, so I ordered 173 and 174, and apparently there's a subtle difference in the grain of the vinyl, so they got the order and they contacted me through First Place and said, hey, these actually have a slightly different vinyl grain. Which vinyl grain would you like? And I chose one, and they made it all in that vinyl grain, which I think is fantastic. You know, that's great customer service. If, you know, they could have just received the order, made it exactly, shipped it, and I would have gotten it, and it would have been a little off, and there's nothing I could have done about it because that's what I ordered. But I thought that was really cool of them to contact me and say, hey, this isn't quite right. You know, let's make sure it looks the right way. So, but the one thing that they did screw up, in my opinion, on both of the covers is this line right here, this flap that you run the wire through. It's all freaking crooked, it's all janky here, and when you cut it to make a flap, it's not, you know, it's not perfect, it's a little bit off. So did that cause that, or did I maybe hog ring it a little unevenly? I'm not sure. It still looks pretty good, but that's probably going to bug me a little bit. I'm hoping that with a little bit of time, maybe that looks a little bit better, or maybe it's just in my head because of this. We'll see. Also, on the bottom end, this is kind of another big issue for me, is on the bottom end, I started separating a little bit in here. Let me try to make sure you get a real good look right here. A little bit of separation. And what really happened there, and I did much better on the second one, it's just that kind of professional, you know, thing to, as you're pulling it over, you really got to make sure you support the seam and the corner as you're stretching it, because you're putting a lot of force in it, stretching different directions to get it nice and seated. And I didn't support the corner well enough as I was pulling it, so it caused some of those threads to pop a little bit. Now, I think nobody's ever going to see that, but it's still kind of, you know, one little, you know, probably biggest piece of advice is make sure you support that corner as you're pulling that over. The other thing that I screwed up on this one, the other one came out much better, is when I was lining up to cut to put this through, I screwed that up. So you can see right there, you know, I kind of screwed that piece up. So, all right, so a couple issues with it, but as a whole, I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks nice and tight. The kit was easy enough to go through following the pro video. And is it perfect? No. $1,300 and a little bit of labor versus $3,500 and having it, you know, hopefully having it perfect. This is the way for me. I'm really happy with this overall. I would absolutely do the same, make the same choice again. Total time to do this, so just for the front seats, and I still have to put one top on, but I'm just going to estimate it, is it took me about 4 hours to do all the tear down, cleaning everything up, and then repainting everything, kind of the prep work. And then it took me about another 4 hours, once I redo the other top, probably 4 hours to do all of the assembly. And then second to that, I wasted 2 hours, which I'm not counting, because I ran out of hog rings. So Advance has hog rings in stock. I went all over the place looking for hog rings. Make sure you have plenty of hog rings. All in 8 hours of my time and saved quite a bit of money. I think it looks great. I'm happy with it. I'm calling it a win. All right, so drop me some comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and if you know somebody you think could benefit from this, feel free to share with them. So that is it for now. Next week we're going to go through, we're going to get that rear seat, and hopefully we'll get these all bolted back into the car. So that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. We'll see you next week.